Good evening, I'm Radio Operators, and welcome to the Weekend Wind Down Net. Before we get going, is there any emergency or priority traffic in this frequency? Alright, nothing heard. This is Ernest, OKI5PZN, of Kilo India 5, Papa Zulu November. And I'm your controller for this net. That is heard through the University Link repeater system, KA5D, and the Ohio Amateur Radio Club repeater system, 50AK. If you're using the University Link repeater system, make sure your tone is set to 94.4, 97.4. If you're using the Ohio Amateur Radio Club repeater system, set your tone to 114.8. If you're outside of Austin, we would love to hear from you too. The way to get in is via Echolink by connecting to KA5D-R or N50AK-R. You can also reach us via All-Star by connecting to node number 51444. That's 51444. The Weekend Wind Down, it's a rag QNet. We get together on Sunday nights to talk about the weekend. Did you work on a project, barbecue, watch a movie, or were you stuck catching up in chores? Hammer later or not, tell us, was your weekend a blast or a bust? Please note this is a directed net, so please refer all call to net control. Don't forget to leave room between check-ins and transmissions to allow for any emergency traffic. Let's start the Weekend Wind Down Net with the segment called Discord Dish, where we serve up our favorite Discord posts from the Ohio Amateur Radio Club Discord server. Alright, we got a couple of interesting posts, more than a couple this week. The first one I'm picking here is from Bill N5SMO on the Antenna channel. And he posted a video here. It says good discussion about portable operation antenna. And it says top 10 portable HF antenna, and it's a cool video. You want to check it out if you are working with antennas, and that's your if antennas is your thing. And I'm sure that for a bunch of you out there, that's probably the thing happening right now, that the temperature is finally coming down, so we'll be coming out like prairie dogs finally popping out our shack to work on antenna. Also, Bill N5SMO had another post on the Fox Hunt channel, and it was this is from the ARL weekly letter. And he's talking about the competitions they do, the USA Radio Orienting team. They brought the silver medal, I guess, I don't know where, those are the 21st International Amateur Radio Union World Amateur Radio Direction Finding. Holy smoke, that's a long name there. But yeah, I guess US brought in bronze and then a silver as well. I think that was an individual. That's pretty neat. If you don't know, we usually do fox hunting here, where somebody has a fox and we post a map or where the fox, the area where the fox is, and then we just go whenever and we sign the log, and it's fun. It's a fun activity, but this one's a little bit different. Those guys literally just run out. They're running out there in the woods looking for this transmitter, and it's obviously a time thing. So it's pretty interesting. It's definitely not for everybody, but if you are into, I guess, running and fox hunting, you can and hiking, you can combine the three of them into one nerdy sport. And there's there's something there on the Fox Hunt channel. It was posted by Bill N5SMO in case you want to look more into it. And on the propagation channel, a bunch of posting on the VHF propagation, so check that out. It's been all over the place. Guys are making contacts on 2 meters pretty far away. So keep an eye on that. That's again 2 meters. So if you have your technician license, you can hop in on Simplex and talk to people all over the place. So keep an eye on that. The guys are usually posting that on the propagation channel on Discord. So an interesting one here, just in case if you're new to ham radio, this is again on the propagation channel. This was posted by Lance, KD3E, and he had a QSO. He had a QSO with somebody in Louisiana via APRS. So if you're new to ham radio, you can talk to people through APRS. Every once in a while, I get messages from local guys here that they know me through APRS, and it's kind of funny because you kind of forget that. Well, I forget that you can talk, send messages via APRS. So aside from just tracking where homies are, you can also send messages through APRS, and you can talk to other hams. So keep an eye on that. That's a really cool thing to do. Again, that's a post by Lance KD3E. That's a new call sign for him. So good to know. That's very interesting. And again, I keep forgetting that you could get on APRS and talk to other folks. And then on the contesting channel, this weekend was the VHF and Up contest ARL one. So the guys have been on the radio all through the weekend. And I think it's 6 meters and up. So, and I think it ends later tonight, so you might still have some time to get out there and get some contacts if you are into that. And again, you can participate with having just the technician license. But the technician license, you can participate on this contest. And I'll move to the next one. And we have the Fox Hunt channel. Paul put a Fox yesterday, KA5FZU. I didn't get the chance to go and play, but I'll be interested if people got out and look for it. I know it happened yesterday, Saturday, and again, he put the map and everything on the Fox Hunt channel. And on the general channel, Mike, K5MWA, posted a video on why does space weather affect ham radio. It's very interesting, and we should all look into that at some point, cause especially if you are into HF, it's good to know what's going on with the atmosphere. Well, and even if you're not on HF and you're local radio, it's good to know what's up out there. That's on the general channel, and that was Mike, K5MWA. And those were the polls that I grabbed this week. Sometimes I grab more, sometimes I grab less. It depends on how the week goes. But don't forget, it's free to join Discord and the OK Elementary Radio Club as well. So all you have to do is go to n50ak.org, n50ak.org, and you can scroll down. And you can join the Discord server from there, and you can also join the club. It's free, like I said. And Discord is a great place to go. If you're starting out or new to the area, great place to go to ask questions and meet other hams. We have over 500 people on Discord, really friendly people, and we have guys that are very knowledgeable. So if you have questions, you're starting out, you want to meet other guys, just other folks, go to n50ak.org, scroll down until you see the join Discord, click on that button, and join the fun. It's a great place to go, and also to stay in touch and see what's going on in the ham community in this area. You are listening to the Weekend Wind Down Net, hosted by Ernesto KI5PZM on Sunday nights at 7:30 p.m. via the University of Link Repeater System and the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Repeater System. Had a good weekend, very productive as well. We had, working on Friday. Well, Friday was all work and no fun. Did that on Friday. I think I might have forgotten. I don't know. I have sometimes my days are blurry, but Friday work, and then on Saturday went to the ham breakfast. That's on Waterloo Ice House, 8600 Burnett Road, just south of 183. That was fun. Had a great time over there. Hung out with the guys and some new people that I met as well. I go there every Saturday morning, and it's we get there like around 8 a.m. and we stay for a few hours. I know this Saturday I guess the last batch was leaving the restaurant like around 11 a.m. So if you are not into being somewhere at 8 a.m., you can get there a little bit later and still join the fun. Keep that in mind. It happens every Saturday at 8 a.m. on Waterloo Ice House on Burnett Road, just south of 183. And the usual stuff, went up there and, well, actually no, I worked regular work all day on Saturday, because this is that time of the year for me. And then hung out at the house, didn't do a whole bunch of stuff. I got into a couple of nets. And today, same thing, I was up there working with Mireya, just getting a whole bunch of stuff. Drove down here, had a cup of coffee. Delicious dinner, and now I'm running this awesome net. I'm curious, I wonder how everybody else's weekend went. Let's call for check-ins, but before we do that, let me do another ID to stay cool with the Fed. This is the Weekend Wind Down Net, hosted by Ernesto, KI5PZN, on Sunday nights at 7:30 p.m. via the University Link repeater system and the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system. Well, all right, homies. Any licensed operator is welcome to check in. If you are a new ham, we would love to hear from you. So don't feel shy and press that PTT button. And call net control with your name and call sign if you would like to check into the net. I'm listening.
This is Whiskey Zulu 5, Bravo Sierra. The name is Rusty, Northwest Austin.
This is November 5 Lima X-Ray Sky in Oak Hill.
This is Kilo 5 Juliet Mike, K5JN, Sam, South Austin.
This is Ken. This is KI5VGN, Ken in Hewlin. This is Kilo Bravo 5 Mike Papa Juliet, Jason Beatum.
This is Kilo 7 Tango Victor Alpha, David in North Austin.
This is KI5 Zebra Papa Alpha, Karen in Hewlin.
That last one after David, Kilo, it was the audio was a little bit low. Could you come back with your name and call sign again? I'm sorry.
KI5 Zebra Papa Alpha, Karen in Hewlin.
Awesome. Thank you, Karen. All right. We got 7. Anybody else would like to check into the Weekend Wind Down Net? Please call net control with your name and call sign.
This is KJ5 BLC Kilo Juliet 5 Bravo Lima Charlie. This is Charles in northeast of Pflugerville.
Anybody else would like to call net control with your name and call sign?
This is Ka W5 Kilo Whiskey Uniform. Okay, Whiskey 5 Kilo Yankee Uniform.
All right. We got a nice list here. We got 9 check-ins. Thank you guys for not letting me talk to that air. Well, let's go to that, talk to that guy A dude named Rusty, WZ5BBS. Rusty, what's going on, man? How is the weekend treating you, my friend?
Howdy, Ernesto, everybody on the net. Man, it's been a great weekend. It's been super chill, low-key, lots of good food. Hung out with the nephews for a little bit and kicked their butt at Wii Bowling. I don't think I woke up before 11:30 on Saturday or Sunday. That's why I missed out on Old Man Breakfast. So, no fox hunt, no Old Man Breakfast, no F1, just a lot of sleep and dorking off around the house, man. It was a fantastic weekend.
Well, man, that doesn't sound bad at all. Just hanging out and chilling and good food and playing Wii Bowling. I don't play that, but that sounds fun. Did you participate on the contest this weekend? Over to you.
I didn't participate as a contester, but I did chat with Michael, WA5AZQ, and Doug, KG5UNK. I got both of them on 2 meters and 70 centimeter, and then I got Doug on 6 meter. I can hear Doug on 6 meters, so that's kind of fun to know. And then I got pinged by Lance, what is his call sign? KD3E, I think is the new one. And I have a QSL card coming that way. We actually did 40 meter ground wave, and then I think we did 2 meter. It was very scratchy on the 2 meter, but we did 40 meters as well. So looking forward to the new QSL card from Lance.
Well, that sounds pretty awesome, man. I haven't talked to him on HF since he's got his new call, and yeah, that's the correct one, KD3E. Do you have QSL cards? Do you send people QSL card, or you don't do that part? I'm curious. Back to you, Rusty.
You know, I don't, and it's something that I've been kind of thinking about doing. You know me, I'm not much on HF, but it's something that I should totally have, so I've been thinking about it, especially because I've got a sneak peek of Lance's new one, and it's pretty stellar, so I think it's about time I get off my butt and actually make up some QSL cards.
Yeah, I know. I've been saying the same thing since I got licensed, and it's just been, because I forget, that's the thing. I mean, I remember him whenever I receive one, and then I said I'm going to do it, and then I totally forget. But I was talking to Mireya earlier today, and she was giving me some ideas for one, so I just need to do it, I guess. One of those things, because I haven't, it's not like I haven't changed my call, and I'm not planning on changing mine, so I should be alright with just one batch, but I don't know. It's on my list of things to do. Do you have a design in mind, or you're still like fishing or looking for ideas? Back to you.
Well, so see, we're in the same boat. My first ever QSL card came from Hungary, and I was blown away. Like, it was, it was just like, what is this? And I saw it, and like I was as happy as could be. It was like Christmas at the P.O. box. And the dude was super nice, and it was for an FT8 contact, which I thought was super random. Homeboy's got to be spending a boatload of money sending out QSL cards for, FT8 things. But, yeah, so I have, like, my call sign is my call sign. I love it. It will never change. And so I think because it's the BBS, it's got to be something ANSI, something old, something that looks like, when you called into an old BBS. I have no idea what. That's about as far as it's gotten. But, one of these days we'll make it happen. I need, like I said, I'm excited to get Lance's, and I think Lance has had like 700 different call signs now. So good on him for making, QSL cards for everything. But if he changes it one more time, I'm just going to call him the Ham that was formerly known as Lance, and we'll just leave it at that.
Well, man, it sounds like your first QSL car was really exciting. My first QSL car was from East Austin, so it didn't travel that far, maybe like a mile and a half, and it came from land, which is the first call sign. For those of you guys listening, Lance is the guy who got me also into ham radio, so we're always chatting. And he's a great guy. Well, very cool, man. We gotta get, I don't know, I guess we should get together and place the order at the same time. Maybe we'll get some sort of a discount on that. But I have a feeling that if I buy those cars, I'm probably gonna, if I get to live to 80 years old, I'm probably gonna get to 80 years old and still have all of them here because I will forget to send them out. But I don't know. It's still on the list of things to do. Well, Rusty, do you have anything else for the net before we move on, my friend?
No, sir. Just making a little bit of dinner. Gonna hang out and listen to the net. Howdy to everybody. Hope everybody had a great weekend. And we'll send it back to you. WZ5BVS, back to net control.
Hi, Senor Rusty. Thanks again for checking into tonight's net, and I appreciate you always calling in, man. We'll talk to you soon. All right, well, that was Rusty, WZ5BBS. And now we're going to go and check with Mr. Sky. And Sky, what's going on, man? How is the weekend treating you?
Hey, Ernesto, this is N5LX. Good. Sounds like Rusty had a good weekend. Sounds like you're sounding pretty up. I guess my main event was Mexican food this evening, which kind of good highlight for the weekend. I finished my HF mobile antenna mag mount. I showed that to you. I just bought the parts and put it together so that it would fit in the ridges on my roof, and so I put the HF mobile antenna on there and I made quite a few contacts. I just kind of used it off and on during the week, and really getting a kick out of that. Learning the art of tuning while driving. I think part of the secret is, besides not getting in a wreck, it's basically just keeping your eyes on the road and really concentrating on your driving and maybe, listening in the background. But I'm enjoying that. And let's see, what else? I'm going to do reset. Just got software for programming the FTM 6000 VHF UHF mobile rig. I'm really enjoying that too. It's a nice radio. Anyway, I compiled a list of frequencies. I'm pretty sure that the majority of them are not active, but I'm going to be programming that thing tomorrow. I just got that in the mail. I'm planning on hosting a fox hunt this coming weekend, and at the Old Man Breakfast, I think you and Paul mentioned that you might be hosting one as well, so that could be interesting since it would be a triple fox hunt. But I was thinking it might even be better if maybe like Rusty put one in his front yard again so he could stop by and pester him. But anyway, let's see what else. I had a pretty great weekend. I mean, it had been a bunch of stuff. Watched MotoGP and went to an Austin Astronomical Society lecture and meeting. So good weekend, man. Back to you.
Well, very cool, man. Well, you don't have to worry about Rusty having to put a fox, because I think from now on, every time there's a new fox, people are just going to drive by Rusty's house just to scratch it off from the possible places of the fox. Since it's been so many times. But very cool, man. What HF radio do you have in your car that you're using with that antenna? By the way, that antenna looks really, really awesome. It's a very, very nice, clean job. It looks like you purchased everything already built. It looks really, really awesome. But what radio are you using for that? Back to you.
Oh, well, thanks, Ernesto. Yeah, I mean, it's not that big a deal. I mean, I just kind of sketched out a design on paper, and I actually just paid somebody and ordered the sheet metal online because I don't have one of those big, expensive sheet metal brakes, so I just had a guy cut the pieces for me. But, yeah, and it's a little diamond whip antenna, and my HF rig, it's the same one that seems like everybody I know has got one. It's one of those FT891s, which is kind of old school, but it's a good radio. Works really good. I'm still learning all the features, but really enjoying it. Back to you.
Very cool, man. Yeah, I have an 891, and that's the one that I'm planning on putting in my truck. Yeah, I think on HF for mobile, I think for my case will be a little bit easier because I'm usually on 40 meters, and there's just two frequencies that I usually go to. It's just two round tables that are there every day, so I don't think I'll be driving around and looking for people talking unless I'm doing a long trip, and I will have to be in 20 meters to do something like that. But yeah, I can totally see if you are driving, if you're just looking for conversations or to listen to someone, that could be I don't know, that could get you in trouble because it's not. I mean, I guess you will have to set up also the knob so it doesn't go too fast, because I'm guessing driving you will have a different, or I would have a different approach where I might be going too fast, or I don't know, something to keep in mind. So you're still liking your FTM 600? I remember when you installed it, I was asking you because it looks like a good radio and the price seemed to be right. Back to you.
Yeah, it's 6,000, and I think it's real similar to the one that you have. Maybe not even. I don't think it even has as many features, but I kind of like stuff simple. But it's a really solid radio. I think the audio is really excellent, and I actually kind of like the idea of a radio that's very straightforward if you're going to be using it in the car. As far as HF goes, I was going to say, I think that the secret is just, it's real tempting to, but just don't look at it. Just keep your eyes on the road, and once you get the hang of doing that, I think it's not too bad. It's definitely got to be careful. It's probably more appropriate to like pull over or like if you're camping out or something. It's kind of fun to have, and I thought 20 meters would be kind of a good band for that. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. The 6,000 seems like it's a pretty good radio. Back to you.
Very cool, man. Yeah, I'm thinking about for HF just getting 40 and 20. I thought about getting the ATAS antenna. I think it does 40 to 10 or to 70 centimeters. But it seems to it doesn't. I don't think it works for me. So I'm gonna end up with something where I can just change the resonators between 20 and 40 because that's where I spend most of the time. Sky, did you participate on the contest this weekend? Back to you.
That's an interesting question because I was tempted to. I listened to some stations and I was kind of doing some other things, and I didn't know the rules for this one. I guess I could have just gone by the website and kind of skimmed through there. But no, I didn't do it this time. But I'll probably will. Maybe the next one that comes down the road. 20 meters seems like it's been doing pretty good lately, and it seems like you don't need a lot of power. I mean, the QRN, the natural noise is kind of high, but it seems like you don't really need that much power. It's been doing really good lately. Back to you.
Sky 5 P's and M with the weekend wine on that. Yeah, I've been at nighttime, which is pretty surprising because I remember a couple of years ago when I first got licensed, I didn't hear a lot of people on 20 meters at nighttime, and now it seems like you go to 20 meters near midnight, and there's people from really far away too. So it's really good. I mean, it's just that I guess I know more people at this point on 40 than on 20, but I still enjoy having conversations with people on 20 meters, DX, just chatting. So it's a really good band. I'm into those two. It's funny. I started spending more time in 10 and 80 meters, and now it's like 40 is where I spend most of the time when I'm not on the repeater. But yeah, I guess we all go through phases where you just move around from one frequency to another one. Well, very cool, Sky. Sky, do you have anything else for the net before we move on?
No, not really. Just thanks for hosting the net. I really enjoy these nets, Ernesto. And hi to everybody else out there. Looking forward to listening to what's going on with you. This is N5LX, back to net control.
Well, thank you, Sky. I appreciate you saying that. I do enjoy running this nets, and it's fun to hear you guys and get people on the radio talking. It's a good feeling. All right, well, let me do a real idea here. Listening to the Weekend Wind Down Net, hosted by Ernesto KI5PZN on Sunday nights at 7:30 via the University Link repeater system and the Old Kilometer Radio Club repeater system. We were just talking Sky N5LX. Now we're going to talk to our friend Sam, K5JM. Sam, what's going on, man? How is the weekend treating you?
This is K5JM, Sam in South Austin. Hey, Ernesto, thanks for running the net and enjoying listening to everyone's stuff. And yeah, the weekend's been treating me pretty good. I guess today I was not up till like 10:30, 11, which is pretty unusual for me. But I was enjoying it, just kind of a day to relax. And so yeah, I didn't really accomplish much of anything other than I turned on the radios. I heard Michael and Doug calling CQ, so I worked them on let's see, on 2 meters, 220, 440, and then Doug on 6 meters FM, so that was fun. And we worked Michael yesterday as well, so yeah, good times.
Well, cool, man. Yeah, I got to talk to Michael this morning. While I was still here at the house, we talk on 7 centimeters, 2 meters, and 220. And then while I was in North Austin, I was talking to Doug. I guess Michael was in a different square, so we talked over there, and that's when we talked. You and I talked for a little bit. I was in my truck, but it's funny. I guess. I guess today is according to the Weather Channel app is the last one of the very hot ones, so I guess people were still chilling in, waiting for the temperature to get a little bit cooler to get out and do the antenna projects that we do when the temperature is cooler. Now, Sam, were you doing the contest for points, or were you just helping the guys out? Oh, back to you.
Yeah, I understand. Looking forward to some sub 100-degree days. I'm not sure if it hit 100 today or not, but yeah, definitely looking forward to those cooler days. And to answer your question, no, just doing casually today. I'm not going to submit a log, but I know even if you don't, it does help by working other stations, so I did that and felt pretty good about that. And I think there were, maybe I heard a couple other people. I worked, talked to you a little bit there, and worked Bill, N5SMO, and a couple others, so anything to help people out. But just the 2 grid squares I heard mostly, which was Echo Mike 00 and Echo Mike 10. But yeah, that's about the excitement for radio stuff today. And yesterday was more of kind of just working around the house. And yeah, I'll you offline there about curious what your I'd like to know more about the thing you're building. Your I know has to do with helping your son, I believe, and yeah, I'm wondering if that's the house, or maybe if you feel like if you feel open to talk about it. Especially every time I hear you on the air, you're sweating away working on something.
Yeah, it's fine, man. No, absolutely. So it's a house. It's a house in North Austin. It's near Breaker and Lamar. And it's not a big house. It's 4 rooms. We're converting this house for a home for adults with intellectual disabilities. 5 or 6 adults are going to be living there. So we're doing, for the last 3 months, we're doing all kinds of, basically construction. Since it's a non-profit, we are trying to do as much as we can ourselves. So I've done a whole bunch of, I've learned how to frame walls, and I can, install doors. Believe it or not, that's a pain in the hiney, but I've done that, a bunch of plumbing work, and you name it, man, all kinds of different stuff. All of the skills that I've accumulated in half of the 10th century, I've used them in that project, including Tylenol. Thank goodness that thing exists. But that's what I'm that's what I'm working on. It's sparrows-austin.org if you want to learn more about it. And again, like I said, it's a nonprofit. I've been working on this for the last 3 years, and we finally are almost done with the construction, and we are waiting on the nice guys of the of the city to issue the permits so that we can get to rock and rolling on that facility. Back to you, Sam.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought it was, but thank you for that. And yeah, I totally not handy with any of that stuff, but glad you're able to put those skills to work. And can you give me the website one more time? Was it Sparrows, like the birds?
Yes, sir. Sparrows-austin.org. And the reason why we pick sparrows is because sparrows are the most adaptable birds in the planet. So I figured that would be really cool because, you know, those kids can adapt and do and make the magic happen. Over to you.
All right, man. Well, very cool. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. I was like, yeah, definitely curious because every time I heard you were working on it, I was like, man, like I think I know what it is, but I'm not sure. So yeah, I wanted to ask. So thanks for sharing. Back to you, Ernesto. K5JM.
Well, thanks for asking, Sam. Yeah, it's funny because, you know, for those of you who don't know what I do, I just push numbers for a living. I've been, you know, sitting on the desk for almost 24 years, 25 years, so it's, you know, it's kind of, you know, it's fun to do things that are different from what you do on a day-to-day basis, and especially those type of projects where there is a beginning and an end, so you feel like, you know, you've accomplished something, so, well, very cool, man. Glad that you asked, and I'm glad that I could have the answer for that. Sam, do you have anything else for the net before we move on, my friend?
No, that's it. I know they have a bunch of eager people waiting to check in with you, so I'll let it go. Have a good night, and thanks, and chat soon. K5JM.
Man, I hope you have an awesome week, and we will be talking to you soon. All right, that was Sam, K5JM. Now we're going to go and check with Kent. KI5EGN. Kent, what's going on, man? How is the weekend treating you?
KI5EGN, Ernesto, so good to talk with you again. Weekend was treating me just fine until I couldn't remember who the heck I was trying to check in here tonight. And we had, Carmen and I had really a good spiritual weekend. Our church has a temple down in San Antonio, so we went there to do some service, some worship, hit church today, and made some just fantastic pork tenderloin for dinner the other night, and gosh, that is just so good. It's done up right, of course, and no real ham activity going on, but just working on some more stuff. We recently bought a house down here in Ewan. We're just doing some things around the house. KI5BGN, back to net.
Well, very cool, Ken. And you're talking about pork tenderloin. Funny, I usually eat before, and I did before I started the net, but the second you mentioned that, I felt hungry again. Oh, man. Well, now I know what to do, what I'm going to be doing after the net. I'm going to be hitting the kitchen and making some noise over there. Well, very cool, man. Glad to hear that you guys had a good weekend in San Antonio, and sounds like a good time over there as well. Did you guys do any contesting this weekend? Got the VHF and Up contest. Back to you.
No, only because I really don't know anything about it. Is that Fox Hunt?
No, this one was the VHF and Up ARRL contest, and people just get on 2 meter, I think 6 meters. It's 6 meters off, so 6 meters, 2 meters, 70 centimeters, and everything above that, and 220 as well. And you just get as many contacts as you can on Simplex. And some of the guys even do rover, which means they have their equipment and their in their car, the vehicles, and they just drive around to different grids on the map, and they make contacts. That way they make more contacts on different square grids. Back to you.
No, did not, and I will have to learn how to go about doing that. We're still using our little Yaesu with a Slim Jim, so I don't know if that makes any difference. It's UHF, VHF. So I still feel so new at this whole thing, even though we've been doing it a while now. Back to you.
Man, don't feel bad. There's so many things on ham radio that it seems like every week I hear about something new. So no, I mean probably with the HT you might be a little bit limited because it's not using any repeaters, so it'll be whatever your HT can pick. But you'd be surprised. You might have people that live nearby and you can make contact. But that's what's going on. They do that now in September. I think the other one is in November and either April or I think it might be June. I know it's 3 times a year, and that's usually you can check those out at the ARRL website. And now the N508K.org got the contest calendar too. So people get into that. And it depends. There's some of those contests that you can win some certificates, and there's all kinds of. That's another branch of ham radio, the contesting. But it's out there in case you are curious. It's a thing. It's like a game. Back to you.
Well, very good. I will definitely keep looking at that calendar and doing what I can do, because you're right, you never know who might be around here. KI5VGN, back to net.
Well, very cool, man. Yeah, and then eventually if you can get an antenna outdoor, that will help you for sure. I don't know if you guys have the capability of putting an antenna outside, but that's something to keep in mind. That will definitely give you more range, even with the HT on something like this. Well, Ken, do you have anything else for the net before we move on?
No, just good hearing some familiar voices again. Good hearing Sky. He and I have many of the same musical tastes. No, nothing further. KI5VGN, back to net.
Awesome, Ken, and I'm really happy to hear you again on the radio, so hopefully we'll be hearing you more often then. Have an awesome week, and hopefully again we will talk to you soon. Alright, well this is Ernesto with the Weekend Wind Down Net. My call sign is KI5PZN, and we're here every Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. via the University Link repeater system and the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system. We were just talking to Ken, KI5VGN, and now we're going to go and check with our friend Jason, KB5MPJ. Jason, what's going on, man? How is the weekend treating you?
This is KB5MPJ. Pretty good. Yeah, I went down and visited my friends in Helotes this weekend. We were going to go out to Devil's River State National Area, but we ended up not going. Partially because one of my friend's sons got braces recently and was in a lot of pain and just didn't really feel like going. And it was still supposed to be 105 degrees out there this weekend, so we decided not to do that. But I still went down there and spent Friday night with them. We went and watched the football game. One of their sons plays football at Bandera High School, so we went to Bandera and watched the game and cooked out and just had a good time Friday and Saturday. And today didn't do very much radio or anything. I did last night. Got on FT8. I'd actually disconnected my outdoor antenna because there was a lot of lightning around, but I got on my indoor fan dipole and was able to make Russia and Ukraine contact on FT8, so that was kind of cool with the indoor antenna to make some DX contacts. and didn't do any VHF, UHF this weekend. Just a little bit of FT8. Back to net, KB5MPJ.
Awesome, man. It's funny. I have to look up that town, Lotes. I have no idea that existed. Texas has got so many funky towns. I've been here for 24 years, and I drive around like a crazy maniac, and every week also I hear a new town. So there we have it. Okay, right on. Now I know. Really, it's funny. I guess because I'm old now, I kind of laugh when you said that kid was in pain because of the braces. That's bad, but you know, what can I do? I'll grow up one of these days. Very cool on the Russia and Ukraine contact with an indoor antenna on FTA. For those of you guys listening out there, did you hear that? An indoor antenna, and Mr. Jason was making contact on FT8 with Russia and Ukraine. What band was that, Jason? Back to you.
It was on 20.
Dude, that's pretty awesome, and that's for an indoor antenna, that's pretty sweet. Did you get to do any 11 meters on Friday night or Saturday night by any chance? Back to you.
No, I didn't. Since I was out of town, did you give it a try?
Oh, I missed the round table those 2 days. I've been up on 38 by band because it's been very active all weekend. So here and there I'll talk to people. And the other channels, you know, above the 40, channel 40, whatever. I'll go visit up there every once in a while to the wildlings. But no, I missed the round table, but it was really active. 38 sideband was really active throughout the weekend, so there was a lot of activity from all over the place. But yeah, that's hopefully by this week I'll get on that round table, because it's half of the stuff they're talking about I don't understand it, because there seems to be way more advanced than what I can comprehend, but still interesting conversation. So I try to tune in and listening. It's funny, here we are talking about 11 meters, and everybody else will be like, oh man, what is this guy doing here? But well, very cool, Jason. Glad to hear that you got a good weekend there. Hopefully you get more radio activity happening this week. Any fun plans for this week? Back to you.
So I'm going to go climbing tomorrow night, but other than that, I don't really have anything planned. KB5MPJ.
Well, very cool, man. It's funny. Going climbing, and I'm going Tylenol. I don't know if there's a term for that. I'm going to go and hit the Tylenol soon after I'm done with the net. Because I'm old. Well, Jason, do you have anything else for the net before we move on, my friend?
No, I think that's it. Thanks for doing the net, Ernesto. KB5MPJ.
Hey, Jason, I appreciate you checking into the net. It's always a pleasure talking to you, my friend. Hopefully we'll get to hang out soon. It's been a while. Alright, well, that was Jason, KB5MPJ. Now we're going to go and check with Mr. David, K7TVA. David, what's going on, man? How is the weekend treating you?
Hey, Ernesto. So, my big event for the weekend was that yesterday was the first Habitat for Humanity build day of the fall build season. So, yeah, you heard it here first, fall, can't you tell? Yeah, got a house started down in San Marcos. This was a long drive for me, so I don't know if I'm going to come back to that house or just keep, there are going to be other houses closer in Austin to work on, but got all the walls up, did all the other little framing details. In particular, I worked on building out the porch framing. It's like a stick-framed porch roof with beams and supports and stuff. And that was cool because I hadn't worked on that before. The coordinator there, Pete, is really good at trying to keep keep me challenged, because he knows I'm a thinker and I need to be like learning how to do a new part of the house each time. So that was cool. Reset. And it was hot. And we worked hard, and we worked pretty well into the day, after like 3 or 3:30 p.m. And everyone was dying. And I got home, and I just went to sleep at like 5 o'clock yesterday, and got up at 9 this morning. I'm still feeling pretty tired today. That was a lot of work yesterday. And then today, made some contacts with Mike and Doug, Whiskey Alpha 5, Alpha Zulu Quebec, and KG5UNK. That a lot of other people made some contacts with, it sounds like. I got Mike on 3 bands and Doug on 2. I'm not sure I've ever actually used my VX6R on 220 before, so that might have been my first 220 contact ever, but I don't have a 220 antenna. I was running my 2-meter antenna and just kind of nudging the power up one setting at a time, hoping I didn't make the radio angry before I got enough power for him to hear me. But it worked out. And that's about all I got for events going on in my life this weekend. How are you doing, Ernesto? This is K7TVA.
Oh man, it sounds like you had a pretty awesome weekend there. You even got to hibernate during the summer. Who does that? 5 till 9 a.m. Maybe you're still growing, man. That's a lot of hours. Obviously, yeah. No, it's the heat more than anything is what I've noticed. Because I mean, we've been at this property for like 3 months, and earlier, you know, I remember getting more stuff done, and now that gets so hot. It just slows you down, and you know, at the end of the day, you just cash because there's nothing left in your body or your brain for that saying. I just sit down and just stare at the walls. But yeah, no, man, that sounds cool. I'm glad that you got to talk to the guys too for the contest. And so, have you worked in construction before? Is that a new thing for you? Back to you, David.
Only through Habitats. I've been doing it for about 3 years, more or less, since I moved to Austin. Something like 6 to 10 days per year. So that's the entirety of my extent. It's a little bit, as construction goes, it's pretty simple construction because they build, you know, basic, simple, affordable homes, and they use pretty similar plans for a lot of them. So that helps out with like understanding what's going on. And they got a lot of guys there who are really good, like, not only know construction inside and out, but are also really good at, like, leading people and organizing teams and all of the people skills as well. So those guys are seriously underpaid because they could probably make more doing commercial construction and not have to do the whole people side of the business. So people side of the job. So I'm impressed by those guys.
No, I agree. I mean, coordinating that effort got to be very, very hard. Because if you're just doing it yourself, you know, you got your list of things to do, and you just go through them, and you know, you're done with that. But getting a bunch of people and making sure that everybody's happy, and then you know, that you're utilizing them on where they can be more efficient. That, you know, it takes some skills, and obviously those guys are there because they love what they're doing. Like you said, I'm sure they could make more money somewhere else. But it's interesting how it worked. I grew up in the country, and it was more like a farm type of environment. And every time my dad hired somebody to do something, you know, whether it was plumbing or whatever was the repair that needed to be done, I was always the helper of whoever he hired. So those guys were, you know, usually they were super friendly, and they didn't mind that I was asking them a gazillion questions. So that's how I learned how to do all those things. Even mechanic work, I could do all kinds of stuff. But well, very cool, man. I'm glad to hear that you got to do that. And you know, like I said, those things, it feels good when you're working with a project like that and you finish it and it's done, and you know it's going to be used and enjoyed for a long, long time. So it's a good feeling. At least, you know, that's what I think when I do things like that. Do you have any radio projects lined up, David? I know you like to do stuff with your equipment. Back to you.
Yeah, so last week we talked about my little roll cage for my mobile radio, and so I finished a version of that on, I think, Friday. V2 2.0, and it's looking good. I'll get some photos up on the Discord soon. So that's done, and pretty cool. And so the next one I'm rolling into is I have the elements, but no longer have the boom of a 4-element 2-meter Yagi. I stole the boom and used it for something else. So I'm working on just rebuilding the boom for that. And the way it works is that they're like 1/8-inch aluminum rods, and the elements fit inside the boom. And then you take them out of the boom, slip them through holes, and you're good to go. So you can carry it kind of packed up. I've used it for like summits on the air on summit-to-summit VHF stuff, which is pretty cool back in Oregon. So that should be a pretty quick one to get finished, which is why I picked that up as the next project. So that's what's going on. K7 TVA.
So I'm guessing the goal is to be able to get on Southside Simplex. Back to you.
Yeah, that would be a good antenna for going portable to set up on a mast real quick. Get a better location with fewer fewer hills in the way, and get it up on a mast for some height to get on Southside Simplex. I wouldn't be able to. It's not like strong for like permanent installation, so it's definitely like portable only.
Okay, I was going to ask if that was something that you were going to set up and leave out there. Do you have, because I know you've been trying to get, or you tried to get on Southside Simplex a lot. Do you have power for your 2-meter rig, or are you doing the Barefoot power? Back to you.
It's a 50-watt, standard mobile rig. So when fall, winter gets here and it gets a little cooler, I'm going to also try to put up some sort of 2-meter directional antenna on my roof, get it out of the trees. Probably won't get any additional height compared to up there now, but it might be more in the clear and more directional. Could help with getting on Southside Simplex from home. So that's on the to-do list, but I'm waiting for some cooler weather for that. K7 TVA.
I'm also waiting for cooler weather for antenna projects. Now I have a question, because I know that I hear Doug, KG5UNK, on Southside Simplex, and he lives probably even more north than you do, because he lives over there in Palmer and Mopac area. Is there something probably blocking you from the guys down south? Back to you.
Yeah, I know roughly where he lives. He's about the same distance north as I am, but he's further east, and that gives him a clearer line of sight to South Austin. Because to the west, you have like the West Lake Hills, and those are what's blocking my line of sight to like where you and where Ray are, which is why I can usually hear Ray, but usually nobody can hear me. I can hear Doug though, so we could use him as a relay to kind of get around the hills sometime.
Right on. I know he also uses the Yagi, so I'm sure that helps as well. But that makes sense that he's got a clear path, because I know everybody hear him, and I don't know if I think I've heard him talking to people that I can't even hear because they're way south, but he can hear them up there. So very cool. Yeah, I was wondering how that works. I know that Rusty lives closer to you, and I don't think he can jump in on the Southside Simplex either, but if not, you're going to have to put one of those, gigantic amp and the ones that dim the entire block, and maybe you can make it out to the Southside Simplex. Over to you.
Yeah, I don't know if I would ever get a big, 100-watt or more VHF amp. And really, there's no substitute for line of sight. A little bit of line of sight will do better than a whole lot of power. All right, so I'll wrap it up. K7 TVA, back to that.
All right, David. Well, I appreciate you checking into the net, man. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Hope you have an awesome week, and hope we get to talk soon. Let me do a quick ID here to stay legal. If you just turn on your radio and you don't know what's going on, well, you're listening to the Weekend Wind Down Net, hosted by me, Ernesto, KI5 PZN, on Sunday nights at 7:30 p.m. via the University Link repeater system and the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system. And we were just talking to David, K7TVA. Now we're going to go and check with Karin, KI5ZPA. What's going on, Karin? How is your weekend treating you?
And tonight is my snake feeding night. I have 3 ball pythons, and time to feed the snakes tonight.
Guys, so I missed the first part of your transmission. For whatever reason, you came into the repeater when you were saying the very last part there of your transmission. So would you mind coming back? I'm sorry, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, Ernesto, that was my bad. Yeah, I don't really have anything new to add other than what Ken had said about a pretty mellow weekend. Just getting back into the radio stuff after our move and packing, and I managed to break my leg, or break an ankle on move day, which was not good, but that slowed me down for a little bit. And then, like I had said, and I think you heard this part, tonight is snake feeding night at the Coos Farm.
I'm sorry to hear that about the ankle. Do you have a cast or a boot, or what's going on with that? Or are you just toughing it out with medicine? Back to you.
Actually, it was July 22nd on move day that it happened, and got to the doctor the next day and was in a boot with partial weight bearing on crutches. So it was a pretty minor break, but it did certainly slow me down, and luckily it was my left leg, so I could still drive. Back to you, Ernesto.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. How long are you going to have to be with that booth and dealing with that, if you know? Back to you, Karen.
Boot is gone, crutches are gone, just dealing with a brace now to kind of keep it, kind of a lace-up brace to keep it stabilized as it is gaining its strength back.
Right on. Well, it sounds like you're already almost on the other side. Now, are you able to go for walks, or do you still have to use a cane, or how is that looking back to you?
Last Saturday was my first walk just for fun, and just went a little bit, but yeah, no cane, no crutches, no walker, anything like that. Just moving slow.
Right on. I'm guessing also swimming might help because it's low impact. Well, like I said, I hope that gets wrapped up soon, and you can we can forget about that issue. I'm glad that you guys were able to move. Now, are you guys able to hit more repair? You guys try other new repeaters, or is that hasn't happened yet? Back to you.
Yes, we did hit a Hayes County repeater.
Right on. Well, they have a really cool club over there, and they have all kinds of nets too, so you guys might want to check that out. I know Jason, KB5MPJ, goes to their meetings, and he says they're pretty cool too. They have good activities over there, so I guess something to keep an eye on for the future, since now you can hit that repeater. Are you guys thinking about getting an HF radio by any chance? Back to you.
It is certainly on the list. Just going to take a little bit. The house is kind of #1 priority right now, but as we end up with a little bit of extra Christmas money, perhaps, maybe we'll do that.
Well, awesome. Yeah, you'll love that. There's activity there. HF. It's like a 24/7 party line. There's people talking all the time. So it's a fun thing to do. Well, very cool, Karen. I appreciate you checking in. Do you have anything else for the net before we move on?
That's about it. The Jason you mentioned, is that the guy in Buda that chatted with Russia and Ukraine? Back to you.
Yes, that's the same guy, KB5MPJ, with an indoor antenna, and it was FTA, it's digital. He got to talk to Russia and Ukraine. So yeah, Jason from Buda was the one who got that done. Back to you.
Perfect. We'll have to connect with him. Ken and I will have to connect with you. Back to you. KI5ZPA.
Very cool. cool. Yeah, he's a really nice guy. Well, thanks again for checking into tonight's net. Hope you guys have an awesome week. I hope the ankle gets all healed up soon, and you get to do cartwheels and karate chops and all those things. So hopefully, next time we'll hear from you, you'll be doing all those things. Thanks again for checking into tonight's net. All right. Well, let's see. Let's go and check with Charles, KJ5BLC. Charles, what's going on, man? How is the weekend treating you?
Hey, Ernesto. It's actually been a pretty good weekend. Thanks for running this net. I was thinking back, I got my license, I think, June 9th, and I think this weekend wind down was my very first net to be on, so it kind of holds a special place. My weekend started off with, of course I'm retired, so it's like every day is a weekend, but anyway, Thursday I was over at Williamson County Amateur Radio Club, and wow, they had a presentation on oscilloscopes by a guy who's worked in the industry with oscilloscopes for 40 years. Anyway, it was a little bit over my head, but it was interesting. One of the big deals out of that was I've been having trouble with this radio I got on eBay trying to get it to operate in terms of the audio at the Kenwood, and so had somebody there in the club that suggested I put it out IO. I did that. I was at the Austin Astronomical Society. I saw Sky, but I had to leave in a hurry and didn't get a chance to talk to him, so that was always cool. Saturday was a great day because the first time I've had a chance to sit down and just watch football, so that was a pretty exciting time. I've been following what's been going on with Colorado, and Coach Prime is still Prime, so that was fun to watch. And then, of course, that night, watching Texas beat Alabama was a really big highlight. Then I had to help out my daughter, so I ended up spending the night at her place last night and was there until this afternoon. And I'll pause. And then the last thing, this afternoon I finally got registered for the exams for October 21st. So going to be taking my general then. And so excited about that. Been studying that quite a bit, almost every day, every night anyway, a little bit. So anyway, I think I will be definitely ready by October for that. So hopefully by then that'll work too. So anyway, that's it for me. Back to you, Ernesto.
Dude, that's really cool. Well, first of all, thank you for your kind words about the weekend wind down net. We started this net on June the 5th of 2022. I think is when we started this net, and it's been fun. I think I probably missed one Sunday during the holidays, somewhere in December or something like that, but I enjoy running this net. This is a really one that I enjoy a lot. It's short and relaxed, and all the things. But well, very cool, man. The Williamson County Club with their oscilloscope. I would have been completely lost if I would have gone to something like that. I still don't know a whole lot of ham radio stuff, so I would have been right there with you, just looking around. But I'm sure you got something out of it, and it's even if it's not a lot of information, we still get something out of that. And all right, and you got to see Sky. Sky is our local ham celebrity. So hopefully next time you get to say hi to him. We all like hanging out with Sky. And very cool, man. On the general, that's a big deal. You pass that and you get access to the world, man. Do you have an HF radio already? Back to you, Charles.
Well, yeah, that's my problem. I've got this Kenwood TS940S. It's pretty big. It's got a built-in power supply, so it's heavy as lead. But anyway, got a whole lot of bells and whistles on it. But the only problem is that I can't get any audio. I mean, I can barely hear it. It's very, very weak, which means it's working, but there's some kind of an issue inside that, you know, I'm going to have to get addressed before it's really going to be usable. So, anyway, just looking for somebody that knows more than I do to kind of help me take a look at it and figure it out. I tried Googling it, and there's a whole bunch of different things to take a look at. So, anyway, probably should have picked up one of the freebie oscilloscopes at the back just so I could signal trace it. I'd had an oscilloscope way back when I was into electronics in high school and early college, but, you know, it's a lot different now with all the high-tech ones. So, anyway, even these old ones.
Well, I want to post on Discord about that video. I'm sure some of the guys might at least be able to give you an idea of what's going on with the radio. So, you know, don't forget Discord. And you can also call Jeff, M5MNW, on Saturdays at 7 p.m. during the Elmer's Net. That guy knows radio from A to Z. Like he's probably the guy to ask to, if you know, on the air too. He knows a lot. So I think between Discord and the Elmer's Net, you might be able to figure out what's going on with the radio. And the reason I was asking you, because if you don't have the general license yet, but you have an HF, and if you've been listening to HF, that's motivate you to get the license. You hear so many people out there. What type of antenna do you have hooked up to your radio, Charles? Back to you.
Well, that was the one that I built. I built a 10-meter dipole and hung it outside this RV where I'm using as a ham shack. And then once I had all that hooked up and everything, you know, I could give it a try. And then, of course, realized I had no signal coming in whatsoever. So, yeah, in terms of listening, I'd love to listen, but I can't hear a thing. So, anyway, I haven't had a chance to really check it out, but for $30, I picked up one of those little SDRs that you plug into a USB port on a laptop. So, anyway, maybe I'll listen with that if I can get that running. So, in the meanwhile, back to you.
Yeah, man, you get one of those SDRs, at least you can navigate the bands and see where the action is, and that way when you get your radio up and running, you know where to go. You know, the places that you will like. There's so many things out there that it gets sometimes overwhelming. You get so many conversations you don't know which one to pick. But very cool, man. I'm glad to hear that things are going into the right direction. And getting your general, that's really awesome. I want to see you there. Did you do any contest this weekend? The VHF and Up contest? Did you participate on that? Back to you, Charles.
No, unfortunately, it does sound interesting. I'm glad to hear that it's 3 times a year, because I might give it a try on one of the other times when things kind of settle down a little more around here. But anyway, that was cool to learn. And yeah, at some point, I wouldn't mind getting involved with contesting. So, you know, obviously, I can do the 2-meter one now. So next time it comes around, I might give it a try. And by the way, thanks for the suggestion on Jeff. That's the kind of thing I'm looking for. So I had already put it out on Discord and got a few comments back on it. But anyway, yeah, I'm collecting a whole group of people who, all together, maybe we'll figure this one out. Anyway, thanks. Back to you, and again, thanks for running this set. Back to you.
You bet, Charles. Hey, man, and if you want to, I can put you in contact with Jeff directly. Shoot me an email if you want to. My email is my call sign, K5PZN, Kilo India 5, Papa Zulu November, @gmail.com. And if you send me an email there, I can put you in contact directly with Jeff, and that way you guys can, you know, get that ball rolling. And, you know, like I said, if at least he can give you ideas of things to look for, and I don't know, you can probably meet up or whatever. But if you want to, shoot me an email, and I'll put you guys in contact. Back to you, Charles.
All right, thanks a lot. I will do that, Ernesto, so I can use all the help I can get. Thanks a bunch.
You bet, man. Glad to hear from you, and thanks again for checking in to tonight's net. Hopefully we'll get the radio issue solved soon. Alright, well, you're listening to the Weekend Wind Down Net, hosted by Ernesto, KI5, PZN on Sunday nights at 7:30 p.m. via the University Link repeater system and the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system. All right, we were just talking to Charles, KJ5BLC. Now we're going to go and talk to Ka, W5KYU. Ka, what's going on, man? How is the weekend treating you, my friend?
I'm doing fine, Ernesto. I had an early weekend since I worked a little bit last weekend. I had like Friday off, so I was playing with my radio stuff, trying to make a little power distribution box with some like a little ABS junction box and a bunch of panel mount parts. So that was kind of fun.
Very cool, man. Yeah, it's fun to set up your shack when you first get started, all of those things that you have to put together, and then the things that you didn't know that you needed. And, it gets exciting once you keep hearing. It's funny, when I first got licensed, I sent a text to Lance, my Elmer K, now he's KV3E, and I was asking him, because I was getting more radio, if I needed a separate power supply for each of the radios. Because, if you don't know, you don't know. So I have no idea about the power distribution stuff, and that's how I got started on that. And it's just the beauty of ham radio. Because I've heard people who've been ham radios for a long time, not me, obviously a couple of years here, but people who've been ham radio for a long time, and they say the same thing. They're always learning. It's always new things to learn and new things to try. So, very cool. So I'm guessing you're setting up all of your stuff at the house. Back to you, Ka.
Actually, these are my ongoing Go boxes. It's a small junction box. And, it's interesting how I don't realize what I need and how to get these parts. For instance, I thought, it would be nice to have a cable gland to kind of like release tension on a cable from pulling the wire from outside the box. So I bought like 100 of them. It's like, okay, I really need only one.
The funny thing about some of those things that you buy for ham radio, I remember about a year ago, I needed a little resistor for something that I was going to do on the radio. I was going to hack a radio, and I couldn't find just one or two. It was just a big, tiny package of transistors. They're cheap as heck, but that's how you end up with the drawer full of junk. So I'm always keeping an eye on Discord for people that need those resistors. Like, hey, I have a bunch, you can have them. And the same thing happened for. I got the VE paperwork. I needed to get like a little holder for my ID, and I went online and found the perfect one. And it was cheap. It was like probably less than $10, but that bag had like 50 of them. And I needed one, so I kept two, and the rest I've been distributing those around. But yeah, it's funny how those things work, and like I said, that's how you end up with a drawer full of stuff. You need only one or two things that they can only sell those things in bulk, which is kind of hilarious and annoying sometimes. Do you get to play on the contest this weekend, Ka? Back to you.
I did not know about it, and I don't think I'm quite ready for contesting. To be honest, I still haven't really talked to anyone outside of nets. So I'm just a shy person, and maybe this ham radio stuff will kind of open me up a little bit more.
Hey man, don't feel bad. I'm a shy person too, believe it or not. The beauty about those contests is that the interchange that you have with the person is very short. Usually, when you hear somebody calling CQ contest, you hop in and give them your call sign, and then they're going to tell you, hey, Ka, I got you here at 5.7 or 5.9 or whatever is the signal strength that they're getting you. And then on this one particular one, the VHF and up, you can look up your grid square online, what's your grid square, and then that's something that you have to give to. And in my case, I am on EM10, so basically, we're having a contest here. I'll be like, hey, car, I can hear you 5, obviously it would be simplex, not on the repeater, but I'll be like, hey, I can hear you 5-9, and I'm on Echo Mic 10, and then you write that stuff down, and my call sign and whatever, and then once you have your log at the end of the contest, you submit that, in this case, to the ARL. I believe I've never done a contest, funny. But that's how that worked, man, and then there are people out there like myself that I do not do the actual contest, but when people are calling CQ contests to get their points, I reply to them and they get my information and they get points for that, for talking to me. But it's a very short QSO, and it's really neat too because it helps you identify how far out your station is getting. So keep that in mind. It happens 3 times a year. This one, the VHF and up. So that's all, man. It's nothing, nothing too crazy. It's just a short QSO, and you get to talk to a whole bunch of people, and a bunch of them are people that you probably already heard on the net. So it's not like you're gonna be talking to people that you've never heard or whatever. It's usually the local guys. So that's what the VHF contest is. Back to you, Kat.
Bring up a lot of good points because I think it'll be useful for me to learn, how far my signal goes out, and I think maybe next time I'll definitely put that on my calendar.
Yeah, absolutely. We have it on the N5OAK.org. We have a contest calendar. And then once you get on HF, it's the same thing. It's usually a short communication that you have with the person, and same thing with HF. Then you get to see how far away your HF equipment is getting, and those are really exciting because sometimes, in those contests you hear people from all other countries, so you start talking to them just to see, how far your equipment gets out there. But that's usually the contest. It doesn't take a whole lot of talking. Just interchanging some information and putting on the log, and you keep on rock and rolling, man. Back to you.
Okay, yeah, I'll add that to my fun ham radio things to get into. So that's a long list.
Cool, man. Glad that I could help here and giving you more stuff to do on ham radio, because I'm sure I'm sure you're going crazy with it with so many things with ham radio related. Well, Kyle, do you have anything else for the net before we move on, my friend?
No, that's all I have. W5KYU out.
Kyle, I appreciate you checking into the net, man. It's good talking to you as always, and hopefully we'll hear from you next week. All right, it's 8:53, so I need to wrap this up so that Jeff can start with his SWAT nest coming up in about, 7 minutes. So, but before I do that, I am going to read you guys a list of some of the local nets so you can stay radioactive throughout the week. 4 nets on Mondays. We have the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club 6-meter Monday on the 50.125 megahertz at 8 p.m. All of them are 8 p.m. on Monday. We have the Williamson County Amateur Radio Club New Ham Net, and that's on the 146.640 megahertz repeater. Also the weekly YL Net on the Oak Hill repeater system, and that's at 8 p.m. And the Texas A&M University Amateur Radio Club Information and Training Net, and that's on the University Link repeater system on Mondays. I'm going to say it at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. And then on Tuesdays, we have the Oak Hill Southside Simplex, hosted by Ray, K5BZI, and that's on the 146.555 megahertz frequency at 8 p.m. And then on Tuesdays, and I need to change the order here, at 6 p.m. on Tuesdays, is the Absolute TechNet on the Ohio repeater system. Again, that's at 6 p.m. and then at 8 p.m. is the other one. On Wednesdays, we have the UT Amateur Radio Club Wednesday Net. That's on the University Link repeater system and the N5OAK repeater system at 8 p.m. On Thursdays, we have two nets. We have the CW Net, and the CW Net starts at 7:30 on the 3.532 megahertz frequency, and that's 80 meters, but that's the portion that everybody can go and play if you are a technician. You can hop in and do the dips and dots with the guys, and you don't have to be a really good CWer to participate. You can even use your computer to send codes, and that's on Thursday at 7:30. And it's hosted by Pat, W5WTH. I'll go and say hi to him on Thursdays at 7:30. At 8 p.m. on Thursday, we have the Oak Hill Thursday Night Net hosted by a different operator every week, and that's on the N5OAK repeater system and the University Link repeater system. Again, that's at 8 p.m. On Fridays, on the last Friday of the month, only the last Friday of the month, the Traveling Taco Net hosted by yours truly, KI5PZN, and that's the one where you guys shoot me an email, invite me over to your place. I show up with tacos, we sit down and like there's no tomorrow, and we get on the air and chat with the guys, and that's from 7 to 9 p.m. on the last Friday of the month. The next one is going to be at Randy's house. I forget Randy's call sign, NAG, NC3, I think, NAG. Anyways, it's at Randy's house the last Friday of this month. Alright, I better put notes here, y'all. I get all confused if I don't have notes. On Saturdays, we have the K5LBJ News and Information Net. That's on the N5OAK repeater system and the University Link repeater system. And that's at 10 a.m. And those are the guys from the Lhasa High School. Go and say hi to them on Saturday. At 7 p.m. on Saturday, the Austin Amateur Radio Club Elmer's Net, hosted by Jeff, and 5MNW on the 146.940 megahertz repeater at 7 p.m. And then there's another net on Saturdays at 9 p.m. That's a 220 megahertz, guys, original preservation net, hosted by Steve, KB9DSQ. And the easiest way to get to that one is through Echolink by connecting to Whiskey Mike Niner Whiskey Romeo. Whiskey Mike Niner Whiskey Romeo. Great net on Saturday night at 9 p.m. Sundays, we have the Austin Amateur Radio Club 10-meter weekly net on the 28.410 megahertz frequency at 3 p.m. At 7 p.m., the Travis County Aries weekly net on the 147.360 megahertz repeater. At 7:30, this one, the Weekend Wind Down Net, hosted by me, KI5PZN, on the University Link repeater system and the N5OAK repeater system. And coming up in 2 minutes, the Austin Amateur Radio Club SWAT Net, hosted by Jeff and 5MNW on the 146.940 megahertz repeater at 9 p.m. And don't forget to go to n5oak.org to check the calendar for the DMR machine. Get the net almost every night, and all of the other nets, all of these nets are on the N5OAK, so go and check that out.
N5WRW.
Hey, Dwight.
Hey, just was going to say hi. I got in here a bit late. I've been bashing away at radio things for a few days.
Oh, right on, man. You all done with your antenna, the project that you were working with?
Yeah, I got it up higher. It's better, that's for sure. I got my amplifier out of the box and changed antenna tuners, and the new one doesn't arc, which is always a plus. And one thing or another. Talked to Curacao on I don't know what, I think it was 10 meters.
Well, cool, man. I'm glad to hear the project that it worked out and everything is finally up and running, and you get to do your contact on HF. Did you work the VHF contest this weekend? Back to you, Dwight.
No, I didn't. I had a music thing to do yesterday, and I was down in San Marcos at the university there for a while, and I've had a lot of plate spinning.
Well, cool, man. At least you got out of the heat, which is good. Well, it's going to get cooler now, but that's not bad, man. Not bad at all. Well, very cool, man. We're kind of wrapping up here before Jeff gets started over there. Do you have anything else for the net before we up, my friend?
Nope, just hanging out. N5WRW.
Dwight, well, I appreciate you checking into the net. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Hopefully we'll get to talk to you next week, and also I hope you have a really awesome week. All right. It's up before, it's 9 o'clock. So let's wrap this up so you guys can go and check the SWAPnet. Let's get a count on tonight's check-ins, and we have 10 check-ins tonight. So thank you, guys. That's one of the probably longest ones that we have here, longest list on the Weekend Wind Down net. Well, I would like to thank every one of you guys for checking in, and that was Rusty, Sky, Sam, Ken, Jason, David, Karen, Charles, Ka, and Dwight. Thank you guys for checking in. That was awesome. Well, thank you for joining me tonight on the Weekend Wind Down net. I hope that even if your weekend was a bust, and definitely if it was a blast, that we all keep the momentum, focus on the positive, and here's to a great start to your week. Thanks again to Kyle, KA5D, and the Okio Amateur Radio Club and 50AK for letting me use their repeater system to run this net. To learn more about the Universal Link Repeater System, please visit ka5d.com. If you would like to learn more about the Okio Amateur Radio Club, including how to become a member and how to join the Discord server, please visit n50ak.org. I'm Ernesto, KI5PZN, and from my QTH here in East Austin, Texas, 73, and thanks again for participating and listening tonight. This system is now returned to regular amateur use. Good night, y'all.
KI5PZN, KG5UNK.
Hey, Doug, what's going on, man?
I tried checking in there. It just was really busy tonight. Wanted to see if you could, if you wanted to pick up a couple, help me get a couple more frequencies here if you got time.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. Let me crank up all this maracas that I have here. That's all on, and we should be ready to rock and roll. Doug, do you want to do 146.520 now?
I've already got that one. You and I already did 2 meter and 70 centimeter.
Oh, yeah, I remember now. So I guess we were missing 220 and 6 meters. Man, you know, I sneeze and I forget half of the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, 223.5. Let's see if we can make that one work first.
It was KI5 PZNQSY to 223.500.
All right, meet you there, QSY KG5 UNK.